Hey, you can.
And I'm
you can-
thankful.
hey,
No.
Charles, you
I tell you what, I'll take this meeting, you take one of mine.
I will. I'll straighten shit out real quick.
And I'm thankful. No. I tell you what, I'll take this meeting, you take one of mine.
All right, you're live. You're live, Charlie.
All righty. Today's May 5th, 22. This is the Farmdale Sanitation District meeting. We have Ray Smith with us here and Ferland Wright, board members, and myself, Charlie Bob Burnett, chairman. We have Judge Wells with us. We have Jeff from HMB and Carl from Capital Wastewater. Looks like we have Marty with us on and Robert video conferencing in with us. So we got anybody else?
I
Good.
think that's all. That's all.
All right.
Got everybody down.
We'll have a approval for the minutes from last month's meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve. I'll second.
All right, all members voting. Aye. All right, we will move on to the treasury report, Ray.
All right, we started April 1st with $151,953.33. We took in $40,325.60 in sewer fees. We had a refund from the public services of $77.67. I guess where we paid once too many when we got our invoices mixed up. We had a tap-on fee from Huntington Woods, income of $500 for a new house construction. We made $12.32 in interest. We spent $54,670.85, and we ended April with $138,198.07. There was no activity on our loan account or the grant account. Invoices to be paid this month are $28.91 to the plant board for electricity, $3,240.10 to Bluegrass Energy for electricity, $206.81 to Farmdale Water, $2,520 to Pace Analytical for lab reports, $485 to Casey's Lawn Service, $18,397.72 to Capital Wastewater, $8,610.96 to Allied Pump for 2 invoices, $83.13 to Republic Services, $44 for water leak reimbursement, $1,110 to HMB. And I think that 10 cents is wrong. I'll have to check my invoice. I must have hit one too many times. Yeah, it's just $1,110. So that 10 cents should be zero. $550.80 to U.S. Treasury for payroll tax, $97.20 to Kentucky Unemployment Insurance, $36 to Franklin County Treasurer for payroll tax, and $356.44 to each board member for compensation. When these checks clear out, we should have $104,958 or $104,958.22 in our account. We get our check tomorrow for sewer fees. It should put us up to around 145,000 for next month. Yeah,
That sounds pretty steady, right? Isn't that about what it is about every month, about that same?
very late it is. Yeah, we're spending more than we're taking in though. It's the bad thing.
Yeah, it is. You are.
And it's been pretty consistent for about the last 10 months.
So we spent 63 of the 200,000 appropriated by the fiscal court.
Yeah. And actually, we're gonna have another big hit on that when Carl gets his next invoice down. I guess they're still working on that. But there's about $140,000 left in that grant. And I've got the checks here need to be signed and the reconciled bank statements. Somebody needs to initial, and there's all the invoices.
All right.
So anybody needs to pull those out and look at it.
Of course, we got the one correction. To HB.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to pay our bills.
I'll second.
All members voting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All righty, motion carried.
And those pumping bills, one of them was the final bill for Farmdale, or Coolbrook, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So we'll only be getting one allied pump bill next month
Good.
for the
And
Farmdale.
that's the only one sitting there at the,
yeah, the 2 bypass pumps at Farmdale.
okay.
That's been a big hit the last few months. Those.
Have they gave, well, we'll get to that, I'm sure, but get an update where that, we're at on that well. All righty. All right, moving on. Well, discussion of our, well, the sewer leak from Miss O'Brien was covered in under our treasurer's report, so
Mhm.
we'll take care of hers in that. Carl, you want to give us a status report on repairs at our plants?
At the plant or just Coolbrook.
Well, you just do Coolbrook, I guess, first.
So the plant, Coolbrook plant, tanks 1 and 2 are still online and running. I talked to Harry Company, they have the diffuser banks built. They're working with me on scheduling the installation of those diffuser banks. I'm kind of trying to coordinate them coming in and installing the diffuser banks and the city's utilization of their back trucks. So if everything goes well and we can work with the weather and the city's schedule, we're hoping to start utilizing their back trucks sometime next week to clean all the debris and stuff out of the tanks and completely empty the clarifier so they can do some welding on the clarifiers in tank 4. So probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks, there's gonna be a lot more work done to the tank 4 at Coolbrook. I have not gotten any updates from Hills Electric on when they're gonna be out there to finish that work.
Okay, so,
So to my knowledge, they're still waiting on the control panel to come in before they come out and finish up the electric.
yeah, and I talked with Bluegrass, Monday night. I talked with, their engineer. I think it's his last week, so he, we were talking and, before he retires, but he's like, we're waiting on Hills for the control board because we can't do the conversion.
Right until that's installed.
So right now, it's the control board is holding us up, and that aerial line going across will have to stay until it'll be some coordination once it's done.
Yeah, and that's just a bad thing right now with the supply chain is getting the stuff here. So
What if, I talked to Bluegrass about covering up the electric, putting insulation on the line going across there?
Mhm.
Do you think if you talked with that operator, crane operator, and see if they felt comfortable, obviously it don't give you the green light to get in it, but it gives you a little bit of comfort to be close to.
yeah, I think that, not trying to answer for them, but I think that wouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
I think that-
might ask them, but we could also ask them to put the rubber cover ups on that 3-phase line, whether they'll do it or not. I feel confident they probably would work with us, but if it's gonna get drawn out, because we need to get that going.
The last time they done the metal work and stuff on tank 4, they was able to work around it, so I don't think it'll be a problem. And especially if they can put the cover ups on it, it'll help out tremendously.
Okay. All right. That'll work, and then maybe we'll get like, if we were to convert, could they tempt or Owen and do the control panel conversion after the electric was moved?
I'll see why not.
And they may want to probably do it in one trip, but
I think that's what they're trying to avoid is multiple trips to the site and
Yeah.
just do one trip and be in and out.
y'all
You
feel
know-
comfortable with maybe checking with the operator? They had to feel comfortable doing that. If they feel comfortable, we'll talk to Bluegrass about
Okay.
getting some temporary cover-ups put on.
Sounds good. And then pump stations, or the pump station area, Coolbrook, I have all the equipment ready to go in. We're just kind of coordinating with the crane truck and time to be able to go in and set the new pump in that pump station.
So you said we have the new pump waiting on it.
Yeah, the new pumps that we ordered for the Coolbrook pump station, Allied Pump has those in their possession.
Good deal.
But you have to wait till you fix the basin, I guess,
Not at the pump station.
not the pump
Yeah,
station.
not the pump station, no.
Okay.
We're just gonna be able to pull the old pumps out of it and put the new pumps in. For kind of the save money and then have a spare. I've been in discussion with them of just removing the one old pump that's not working and replace it with one of the new style pumps and then leave the old one in there until it has a failure.
Mhm.
And then when it fails, I'll schedule have it pulled and the new style set. So that'll just kind of save money and then we'll have a spare on hand as well. And then
How are we doing about leakage or refuse going out into the creek?
of tank forward leaking,
Mhm.
as of right now, as long as the plug does not fail, that's in the influent box that's mounted on top of tank four that divides it into tank four and the other two tanks. As long as that does not fail, we are good, because tank four is pretty much 3/4 of the way empty and below, yes, knock on some wood, below all the holes that's in that tank.
Okay.
So we're, as of right now, knock on wood, we're not leaking sewage and stuff from tank four into the creek.
Short of just rainwater coming in
Yes,
it.
yeah. but
That's
I
the only
have,
thing we're getting in it.
right, as right now, other than the debris and stuff that's still on the bottom, that the pumps that I have installed to keep that rainwater out,
Mhm.
where it's too thick for those pumps to pump it. So I do have a pump in the oxidation ditch side of it that's has a float hooked up to it. So when rainwater does enter it, and it fills up to a certain level, the float comes on and engages the pump and pumps it out. And then that's pumping it over into tanks 1 and 2.
Dude. Anybody else have anything on Coolbrook? You may need some ground to put something on.
Yeah, on the big pump station. I know Farley's been trying to get up with it.
Do you have any
Yeah,
luck with the contact I give you?
I called and talked to him, I've got his name,
Rob Moore?
Robert Moore, yeah. He said I will talk to his clients and have them contact me. Well, I'm still waiting. And because I'd reached out to them a couple of times, they're in somewhere in Louisville, they have another company, or they're the principals of this Coolbrook Utilities District. I think it is. That's.
I think
the
it's right,
legal name
yes.
Owning that. And I talked to a secretary there and left word for them to call me and didn't get anything. So then when I talked to Rob Moore, he says, I will contact them and have them contact you. And I'm still waiting for that.
We need to get that, a site and there finalized so we can start designing that pump station down there.
Where's it? Is this at the Davies?
It's
No,
not-
this is at the
Right
Coolbrook.
beside Coolbrook. It's,
Oh,
kind of,
Who owned the property that the plant is sitting on?
The same people.
yeah, it's kind of weird that we
So that
didn't acquire the
yeah, that didn't
property.
come with that?
The, you know,
No,
I guess it was parceled off. Robert, you may know more if you're on. I don't know. But it sounds like they were parceled off separate, same name, but we didn't acquire that evidently.
I believe that's correct.
It's like last lot down there at that cul-de-sac.
what street?
But it's not even big enough to really do anything. with.
No, is it Hollow?
Hollow Creek Drive.
Yeah, Hollow
I think, yeah, last on the
Yeah.
right. And
so are they willing to deed it over to us, or that we're going to buy it, or
can't
what?
even get a discussion with them. That's what we've been trying to do for 3 months.
And we have to have this piece?
For a pump
Ideally,
station, yeah, ideally, yeah.
In order to retire the old plant there. And then I think that deeds back to them, reverts back to them.
I'm not for sure how it reads. There's
Somebody's
something
missing
weird.
it.
Yeah.
But
Unless there's another
they're not
option for a
interested in
site for
talking
pump
evidently
station.
because I've reached out to them numerous times.
What's the alternative?
You could possibly put it behind the existing plant there on the other side of it. But by the time well, you're going to probably have to get an easement to go through there anyway, wouldn't you? to take it around during,
Or is there an option of, is the plot that's right behind the Highwood Pump Station big enough to redo the Highwood Pump Station and the Coolbrook Pump Station, combine it together? Right there behind the Highwood Pump Station?
I don't know. We looked at that before. I don't know if it's enough room or not. We talked about that getting down in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. If that's a route, we'll have to make some decisions quick in order to get all this designed and stuff. Didn't you meet us down there? I know you've been down
Yes,
there.
yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if, does anybody have an idea how to reach these folks or how to get them to speak with us? It's Mr. Cogan and Smither.
Yeah, I remember Cogan. I
Okay.
remember the name. That's who we got
Yeah.
procured these plants from.
And
So
You think you'd want to get rid of it because I don't think there's nothing been on it for
I don't
a long
know.
time.
I don't know. But if I were you, if you feel like you've done all you can to reach him, Jeff, you need to be looking at a alternative plan, because there's no reason he wouldn't do it other than
Yeah.
I didn't know what the
just
history was.
doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Right.
And so you can only, time is your friend or your enemy, whichever way you want to look at it.
Right.
We're talking about putting it on the other side of the fence.
It's an option, but it's just gonna be,
The new road we put in will make it easier to get to.
yeah, but we'll have to get sewer over to it and everything else, and take out the plant and stuff. I just feel that, whatever that little property potential could cost, it'll cost more than that to try to bypass, to build over there.
Right,
Does that make sense? I mean, if we
absolutely.
build over there, the construction's gonna be a lot more difficult.
Right.
And
Well, but
you
it's
drive
an
it.
awful lot more if we lose this,
Oh, yeah.
all this grant funding we
Yes.
got out there, because we can't make any
Yes.
headway.
And I'm not sure who owns that lot right there behind the plant. If if Farmdale owns some more of that or not. I don't know how far their property runs.
Well, Robert, can't you help them with who owns the property all through there?
Yes, sir. I'll look it up right now.
Robert's got it.
Yeah, I'm not for sure how far. I know we own so far, but I'm not sure if our property stops at the fence or goes on past that.
Okay, yeah, you're looking it up, Robert?
Yes, sir. I'll be right back on with it.
Know if anyone has a relationship with Mr. Cogan, a good relationship with Cogan and Smither from the previous
No.
discussions?
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, from what I recall, I'm not sure we ever talked with them personally. It was Rob Moore was the attorney. And it was the board and Rob Moore or John Boffman or Rick Sparks.
Right.
It was just kind of that. I don't believe we ever saw him.
So would it be fair for me to call back Mr. Moore back and say, ask your people how much they'll sell that lot for, give us a price? I mean, without any negotiation up front, just to see if they're interested, because they know what our intention is. He knows I've called or trying to reach him to buy that, but they're not, they're kind of ghosting me.
Yeah.
Try it. Because I mean, they figure we'll do anything with it.
Can you use any of that EPA money to buy
I
property?
don't think so. Don't hold me to that, but I don't know. I think it's all been set aside for planning and design. I don't know 100% for sure.
Annie, do you know anything about that?
Are you referring to the current appropriation we're using for the
Yes.
design?
Yes.
I think it's all planning and design, like Jeff said. I think that's how the language was rewritten when they split the original appropriation to allow them to use some money for design. We can always send a question to EPA and ask about that, but I don't know if that fits into the budget that Jeff's got for completing the design. So I don't know if it's here nor there on, if additional monies have to be found to purchase that property, if there's only enough to finish the design that's left in that original appropriation.
And this, I think there's 430,000 left.
I want to say it's right. I mean, I think there's money to purchase it and complete the design. But Can that money be used to do that? I don't know. Like I said, we'll have to go back to EPA, see if that's even an option. If they'll let us use
So
that
as it
money
is,
for
the-
that.
The lot's not a buildable lot.
No, it does
So
not, no.
Unless they're looking at it from being a commercial lot at a price.
Yeah.
like We're trying to buy.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
you know, it could be that this gentleman, since we're on here, I'm gonna try not to use his name, but what may just say, I've washed my hands of it. And then, but if you come back with it, hey, we need a piece of property, we're willing to buy it. He may unwash his hands,
Right.
dry his hands, and say,
Right.
okay, let's talk.
It
again."
seemed
Well, I
like
told the
he,
secretary that that's what our goal was.
Okay.
The intention of my call, when I
Okay.
first reached out to her. But,
Mhm.
and then I don't, I think I told the same to Mr. Moore when I talked to him.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what we were after.
And he gave you the number and.
No, he said I will contact them.
Oh, he didn't want,
And have
he
them-
didn't want you to
Right.
contact.
Right. So I just wondered I thought there might be a history there.
Mhm.
So he said, I'll give them the message and have them contact you.
I'd definitely maybe try to get hold of him again. I mean,
Yeah. I can do that tomorrow, sure.
Well, let me ask you this. Can, you know Alan, Allison, why don't you give Alan a call and see if somewhere in his records, he doesn't have that number,
it could have.
that you could call him personally,
Right.
and call him personally. Maybe, I would not be, I would not be surprised that Alan doesn't have that, because Alan was really the conduit. He was to the lawyers and everybody else. He was the one that's always talking.
Well, I reached their office. I don't know what I think it's a real estate company, I believe is what they do. And that's who I spoke with, was the secretary, and he's listed as a principal of that company. So unless there's a personal number, maybe,
They just said, well, we'll just give a message.
right, and that was
Mhm.
2 follow-ups and no
Mhm.
message.
Right. Robert looks like he's in deep thought.
He's looking at it.
We can get that information from him later.
He'll get it. You go ahead and do your.
Okay. Well, kind of probably need him for this next one anyways. Discussion of the CASOP status, where we're at.
I'm sorry, Charlie, before we jump on that, there is, in the absence of the survey, it's hard to be exact, but there, based on the information I'm seeing, it looks like there's about 60 feet of land owned by Farmdale behind that equipment building to the east of the tanks.
Okay.
So we already own that property.
You may own it. Yeah, it sounds like if that's accurate, 60 foot.
That'd be enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it on there. Yeah.
Can you confirm that to be the case, Robert, at some point?
Probably have to be surveyed. The only way you could really find out for sure.
Right, because I don't see at this time, just with the information I've looked at, I don't see a plat identified. Now, I'd have to go to the deed room and do some research to see if there is one on record. So that the plat would verify it and allow a surveyor to set pins, and we'd know exactly for sure. In the absence of a plat, then we would just need a survey of the property, which would be much cheaper than buying extra land.
And Robert, right at the end of Holler Creek, we're talking about dead end straight in front of you when you get to the very end, right?
Yes,
Is that what you-
Yeah.
yes.
All right, that's promising.
And so the adjacent neighbor to the east, directly at the end of the cul-de-sac, let's see if, we could always pull their plat also and see what information that reveals as well. I mean, I'm happy to go do that. It won't take but a few minutes. So that, they'd be at the very end of the cul-de-sac, you'd sort of drive right into their driveway if you went straight down the street. So, I mean, I can pull those two tomorrow and get back with Jeff on it.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
good.
Be awesome. Thank you, Robert.
All right, no problem.
All right, moving on, CASOP status. I know we met with the city the other day.
Oh, FSD on the on
Right.
the details and stuff, standard specifications.
I know that, I think we got a lot out of that.
Yeah, it was a lot better than I thought.
Yeah.
Good.
And isn't anything else changed, or they feel pretty good with what we'd all discussed? And
As far as that, I mean, the details and stuff, I think everything was good. I mean, they haven't got, they had some proposed changes and they give us that little sheet with some, but other than that, nothing's come out of it. But no, knowing that I can proceed, like,
Right.
so I'm good with that as far as that goes right now.
okay, with some of the language that's in the CISOP, it obviously makes it a lot easier for you to move on with your
Exactly.
design process.
Exactly, yeah.
Robert, did you take about that out of the same?
Yes, I did. I thought it was a very positive meeting. Once there was a full understanding from FSD as to who would own what infrastructure. There was that caveat just for the majority of the board and the judge executive that if Farmdale ever did request Frankfurt to take your system over, that then upgrades to their standard details would be required. Right? Isn't that what you all recall? So,
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think Jeff can proceed on with his design the way he's got it.
Well, wait a minute. Originally the draft, or way back initially was that the specifications for the sanitation district had to be the same as the specifications for the sewer, the FSD. So why would they say that it'd have to meet specifications? It would have to be brought up to their standards when you can't build it unless it's their standards.
Well, we're getting a waiver for that, right?
Well, the confusion, I think the confusion thing is how far, where do we start and where do they stop? That the confusion, I think, for their side is where's that at? And once they understand you're gonna meter how much we pump into y'all and we're getting it to y'all. And under certain specs with their approval, which they, y'all discussed.
Right.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're willing to waive stuff like blacktop driveways and all that.
There's a few
And then
items.
later, if they
we could-
incorporate that in their system, those things would have to be done
Yeah.
at the board's expense or district's expense.
And stuff like odor control equipment, they were willing to let us slide on that, but if they were ever taking it over, we'd have to put that in. They take it.
Okay, I thought maybe you had to go back and redo the whole daggone system.
That's what we thought.
Yeah.
When we first read it.
Yeah.
Makes improvements, I guess.
It was a good meeting.
Yeah.
Good. That's the important part.
Yeah. So, I mean, is it in our court right now, Robert?
No, sir, I still have not received the revisions back from the city.
Okay. All right. We'll move on. There ain't much to talk about other than that.
I mean, I'll reach out to Kenny tonight or tomorrow and just to make sure I didn't overlook an email, but I'll shoot him a text right now.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Or you want to give us your plant report?
First, I'd like to say that the first time in several months, maybe even a year, all 7 of these package treatment plants are up and running.
Awesome.
Oh, Carl, you need.
Yeah,
That wood, please.
they're not
That's amazing.
100% fixed, even 60% fixed. There's still a lot of repairs and stuff that need to be made on all 7 of these systems, but they are physically running
That's awesome.
and treating the water. So we've had several trouble calls this month. We had one at 216 Brookfield. There's a backup in the home. Inspected the home. They had a clean out on the outside of the home, but I could not access it. Where the clean out was at had been covered back up with storm debris and stuff like that. So I was not able to access the clean out to see if it was actually on our side or not. And their lateral line tied on the other side of the road. So I had to call Buchanan's out and they done a lateral launch from the main line. And we ended up finding out that the clog was like 30, 40 feet from their house. So it was actually on their side. It was actually in that common lateral, on the other side of the common lateral where they tie in. So it was on the homeowner's situation.
Do what? Well, I don't know. I think some of it is absorbed and some of it's on there.
Then we had another one at 124 Hillway, which that's the trouble call that I had you come out on and help me out with, which is a backup. They didn't have a clean out, but that's the same line that we got a sag in the main line. Buchanan was able to find the problem and it was up next to the house. But I went ahead and had them install a clean out. And then I'm waiting on a quote from Buchanan to repair that sag. Then we had another backup at 116 Coolbrook. Or no, it wasn't a backup, I'm sorry. 116 Coolbrook, I got a call about a bridge that came loose. It was over the creek that came loose and got washed down and was up next to our sewer line that's exposed. And they was thinking that the sewer line was broke or damaged. So I went out and inspected it and it was actually 6 foot away from the manhole and the sewer line. So I told the homeowner it was on them and their responsibility to remove the bridge. We had one at 22 Apple Way. They actually had a plumber on site and they had found the blockage. And I went out and looked and the blockage was right at 15 foot from the edge of the road. And then I looked at the camera footage that the plumber had where he had the camera in the lateral line and it was pretty close to the tap. So I took responsibility for that being on Farmdale. So I had Buchanan's come out and repair the tap and also put a clean out in right there at that spot. 23.
Carl?
Yes.
Carl, is that the one where I pulled the plat and got the right of way width for you?
No, I think that was a different one.
Okay, all right, thanks.
I took that same right of way measurements and used for this one. So that's why I was able to determine that it was on Farmdale's responsibility.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Then we had another one at 2360 Evergreen Road, which when the homeowner was calling me, it sounded like it was on her anyways, because of installation she had done in her bathroom for her commode. But I wanted to go out there and double check it because she actually connected into that line that has the sag in it. Because she said since she had her new commode installed in her residence that she's been having problems with it flushing and stuff. So I went out and inspected the lateral line from the clean out. Everything looked in great shape. So I told her that she's going to have to get back with whoever installed her commode in her bathroom. Because I had her flush the toilet a couple times and watched the flow come through the clean out and it never once backed up. So I explained that to her and she agreed and we went our separate ways. So I was able to install the new blower for Evergreen and actually bring that plant back online. I had a few issues with that blower because once I had the blower and installed the blower and finally got it hooked up to the discharge line, I turned it on and it was actually sucking water from the tank and blowing it back through the blower. And I was like, I've never had that happen unless the motor was wired backwards, and I'd never touched the motor on this one. So come find out when the manufacturer shipped that blower, they had everything put on it upside down. So I had to disassemble the blower and put everything was on the bottom on top and flip the blower upside down and because it's made to be reversed like that. So I was able to, after a couple hours of disassembling the blower and putting the blower back together, I was able to bring that system back online. Farmdale plant 1 is back online. Plant 2 is still down, but all the flow that's coming into that facility is going into tank number 1. So tank number 2 is just sitting there idle, waiting on repairs. Bypass pumps are still sitting there. I have talked to Hair Company and they are still waiting and trying to get it scheduled for the new wet well to be delivered. the trucking industry is backed up and they're struggling. The manufacturer of that well is struggling to get it scheduled to be shipped to us. So,
Where's it at?
I think it's around Tennessee, I believe. So as soon as it gets, they're hoping it'll be here within the next week or so they can start installing that well. So again, once it's installed, I'll be able to go in and set the control panel and new pumps and we can get rid of that bypass. So I'm hoping that'll be done this month. I'm hoping I can come back to you guys next board meeting and say it's installed, but it's one of those I'm not gonna hold my breath on until I actually see it.
That's where the noise from
Generator.
the generator, I think those people are.
Which Charlie and myself met the homeowner out there and explained everything that was going on and stuff. And I think they're understanding and willing to work with us
Good.
on all that. And also Huntington Woods plan is back online. I have the bypass line of the sand filters installed. But I need to do some modifications and adjustments to the line to be able to bring that part of the system online and bypass the sand filters. But the rehab stuff I've had done to that plant is working correctly and working pretty decent. So it's back online. One of the things that I still need to do for the actual blower systems is install the other motor and run new wiring and conduit from the motor to the control panel to be able to have 2 working blowers.
But we have one running at.
Yes, we have one running right now. I'm not gonna wood, as long as nothing happens to that blower system until I get the other one installed, it's up and running. There is one I'm working on trying to get a quote for Huntington Woods as a new water line run from the water meter to inside the plant, because I am in desperate need of some wash down water at that facility.
Is it the one that's got a slow leak in the line or something?
Yeah, it's got a slow leak in the line, but it has where I had Buchanan's come out and repair it and repair the hydrant that's there. After they repaired it, another spot started leaking in that line. And where that water line comes from the water meter, it actually goes underneath that creek that's right there behind the plant. So I would like to, with your approval, after I have the quote in hand, is run a new water line from the meter down the road, right away in the road, and then down the driveway just inside the fence at Huntington Woods. So then that would alleviate the line going right underneath the creek. And then it'd be a brand new line with a new hydrant. I know the line that's coming from it now is in pretty rough shape. And then that would give me a brand new water system to be able to have wash down water at the facility.
It'd be cheaper to just run the meter straight up to the road and not take the big dog leg up the hill.
Well, the meter right now is in that property if you're facing the plant to the right.
Right,
there.
but it's on the other side of the creek.
Yes, it is on
I
that
just think
side.
if you just set a new meter over on this side where the driveway is and just run line.
And that's something I
in the
need to
driveway.
myself or you guys talk to Farmdale
Farmdale.
Water, because they would be the ones setting the meter and stuff.
I'm not sure what they charge to set a meter.
I think it's like $700 or something for a meter and a tap fee or whatever.
Because it'd probably 50 or 60 feet up the road, having to come down the right of way and then take a right angle back into the
Yeah,
plant.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, we can try to see which makes more sense to put it there at the driveway and not try to go across.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be an entirely new line right away to the water main.
Would it be a meter relocation or need a new meter? If they charge less?
I was just thinking a whole new meter, or, yeah, they might just
I
move it out of
don't know
there.
if there's a fee built, new
Yeah.
hook on fee may have been built into that. I don't know. A relocation maybe.
Y'all communicate with him?
Bray, you probably talked to them more than I have.
Yeah, I just talked to them, when the bills come in, but yeah, I mean, I heard the last one about it.
Yeah, we could ask Vaughn or Jane, see, they might work with us.
I would hope. I don't know where Clifford, I don't know what his status is, but you got one brand new board member to start.
Who are the board members on that?
Well, there's Clifford and I'm not sure of his status, but then Scotty Wooldridge and Jonathan Daly.
Okay. Yeah,
I think you know those guys.
Yeah.
You can talk with those guys.
yeah,
I'm sure they have, you could be worked out whatever is the least expensive and the best for you, probably get done.
Okay.
Whether it's called moving the meter or relocating the meter or whatever.
and they may not have facilities up around the road either, so. I don't know, you would probably know more about what's out there, right?
I'm not sure which side road water's line is on.
That's my thing, a lot of
Yeah,
times
pretty
they're, a lot of their stuff's not it's not locatable, and it's, their maps are kind of MIA, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's on the sewer plant side, but I'm not positive.
Okay, well, we can always ask.
Yeah.
Won't know till we ask, so. You wanna do that, or you want me to do it?
I can, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Can we check with them?
What would y'all think about having a quarterly meeting together? So you can talk about these kinds of things,
Man, I don't mind it.
or semi-annual or something like that,
Yeah.
a couple times a year.
We will need to talk to them about, because we're going to run a new water line to
Well,
this new,
I think that's part of, I think.
to this
that's
new,
part of it.
the daily pump station. And
Mhm.
it's gonna have to run close, almost all the way up to Green Wilson. That's, they don't have a water line any closer than that. Unless you cross 127,
Or enough water.
we don't have any water. you know. I think, I forget how, I looked on Google Earth there, it may have been all together, all the way back to the pump station site, like 7,000 feet, so it was a long way back there. I met with Jamie of Farmdale the other day when I looked at it.
And he's just been certified,
Yeah,
so which is good.
That's their field technician.
yeah, that feels good, yeah.
Mhm. So I think they can back away from Gatewood,
Mhm.
probably.
Mhm.
Would you all be amenable to have
I'm fine with it, Ray, you good?
Yeah.
a conversation?
Yeah, I
Both
don't,
boards?
yeah, I mean, probably wouldn't hurt us to have some kind of understanding what's going on their sides and ours. Yeah.
Okay, well, I know we're having a meeting with them next week, I believe, to look at some protocols. And I'll bring that up.
I don't think it'd be a bad thing to have.
And to be honest with you, we could have it in here if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, I think it'd be fine. Righty. Carl, does that wrap up your report? Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate all you.
Yeah. Good news appear that all the lights are up and running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marty, you on here? She was.
There she is.
Is everything seem to be better out there in Huntington Woods, Marty?
You mean sewer wise? Well, there's
Yes,
not any smell.
That's good.
That's great. Yes,
All right.
I saw a state truck pickup there today. I don't know what they're
Probably
doing.
our inspector. I
It's
imagine.
probably state.
She's always out there.
She's always at all seven of them.
She can be in multiple places.
Yes.
Put her desk in that little building.
We joke around. I think she's got a.
Oh, I thought that was you, Marty.
Well,
That sound.
Wait, I thought Marty was laughing.
Very funny.
all right, so we'll move on. Quail Run, close,
Just,
big project.
just these easements on Quail Run, and I think we've already hit on most of the stuff on the big project.
Okay.
Unless anybody had any specific, anything specific we want to go over.
No,
I'll reach back out to John Buff in the morning and see if he made those, edited those easements.
you said you were gonna make a spreadsheet. I think you did, and
Mhm.
I guess add, and we'll try to just keep tackling and going at it till we get told yay or nay.
But right now, I mean, as far as that one issue we've discussed a few minutes ago, I think I can get on everybody's property. I stopped and talked to some the other day when I was out there, surveyors. So I think,
I will say, everybody I talked to was just actually, I thought they'd be kind of standoffish, but really they were kind of ready to get all this behind us and let the people have a quality service, and everybody was wanting to work with the community, and
Yeah,
it's
you
good.
know.
It's good to hear. Now, we're gonna have probably a few hiccups, but
Yeah. And when you go to get
When I went
easement
door to door,
signed,
I
it might be a
heard
little,
that too.
when we try to get easement signed, it might be a little rough, but as far as design and stuff right now, with what we got laid out, I don't think we need, I think I'm good,
okay.
other than that one issue we discussed earlier. So,
Hey, Charlie, at the last meeting, I advised the board that I would reach out to the property owner where the well-run pump station is located. So I did, and I advised her that there was a bid opening and that I would continue to keep her up to date on the project status.
Yeah, she's a nice lady. She wants to see that thing gone. So,
Yes,
This, Ms. Sawyer.
yes, that's correct.
and I don't blame her.
Yeah.
So is there not already an easement on her property? Or do we need to do, because we got a new.
Yeah, we,
easement on
no,
her-
yeah, we're gonna have to get an easement because it changes a little bit on her
Oh, I
property,
see.
the line, the
Well, hers
sewer
is ready
lines.
to go.
Okay.
And get it.
Good.
No rise.
Good deal. All right, so you covered your, some of the status on the big project.
Yeah.
So that covers that. Your system report's done. Does anybody else have anything? Anything that's popped up in the last few days? Concern? Judge, you got anything?
Keep moving.
Well, we're trying.
I know you are.
We're trying. Robert, you good? Ian?
Yes, good, thank you.
All right, good. Well, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn if that's, we're at the end of this.
One thing we might want to bring up is our rate structure. I don't want to forget that. I didn't bring it up last week because you weren't here. And I don't know, we're gonna need to do anything other than just.
You might put it on
Keep
your
thinking about
agenda
what we're
for
gonna do.
discussion. Since this is the end of the meeting, you might put that on as for discussion in June. And that, and with Karen here, that might be a good time to discuss
I
that.
just
too.
don't want us to forget about it because
Yeah,
we keep
I
spending more than we're taking in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll obviously kind of consider whether we need to be at a certain rate or do a flat rate and, or
However y'all want to do it. I
kind of
Why-
see what
Why don't you let Karen, because she works with so many others, give you some idea. You all talk about what your thoughts are and let her, maybe she could go back and get you some information.
right.
I might go back and pick up the last year's worth of expenses and divide it out and see what it would take to
Yeah,
break even.
Yeah.
Just on what we spent. Because we've already lost $200,000.
Probably we drop out some of the big ones that we know won't happen again, maybe, or not.
Yeah.
So like that pumping project was a huge expense, which we shouldn't have that
Mhm.
more times.
Right.
But Aiden, you throw that out, we spent 14,000 more than we took in this month, and you throw out that $9,000 pump, it's still,
You're still 5.5.
we're still on backwards.
Yeah.
yeah, you don't, you want to always
Yeah.
be on the plus side.
Right, and we're, last time we were kind of roughing the numbers. We were coming up short on what was projected we should be at anyways.
Right.
And, I don't think any of us want the rates to go up for anybody, but it has to pay for itself too,
Yeah. People are really not gonna like it if we can't pay the electric bill,
Right,
so.
yeah, it's, with the inflation right now and with the way materials are and jobs, I honestly, I don't see anything really getting better for a while.
Well, and this is another reason to have Karen here, is you want to know what, you don't want to just break even, because 6 months you could be back in the hole again. So you want to know where you can go, what that window is.
Right.
To
And be fair for our ratepayers.
that, amen. That's
So
where I
hoping a
was
lot of
going.
this stuff doesn't come back up though, it's kind of
Some anomalies.
issues and problems that have been going on, kind of coming rust, as we get those addressed, that shouldn't come up for a while. Hopefully.
Maybe like I said, Karen, maybe give us some
It
guidance.
can always be addressed somewhere else, though.
You know, what I say, at the very least, what she would do is take some of your numbers and go back and run some things on it, because
Yeah. I think we even gave her some rough numbers before. Maybe she was
Possibly.
needing some numbers on it. But we'll have her on the agenda next to be here with us.
June 3rd or whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever. I haven't looked and see what the date is, but
Yeah, I think that's that Thursday. I told her that, like she said she could come that day. I'm probably not gonna be here, but she'd be great for you. You all, she'll work with you.
Yeah.
And Ann works with her all the time. So
we'll go. We'll get that on there, Ray, for
Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
some
this month.
discussion and. see
I didn't
what-
bring it up last month because you were gone. This month, I just didn't
We
think
could
about
have
it.
brought it up.
till today. I knew you'd want to.
I know I wanted to be participation.
We don't do anything about you.
I know.
Mr. Chairman, if, I know Jeff's probably already had the judge sign those draw requests.
Huh?
Yeah.
And if you'll ask him to give them to his office to scan to me in the morning, I'll process that reimbursement.
Yeah, I'll send them to you tomorrow, Ann.
Thank you, Jeff.
No problem.
Awesome.
All right.
Appreciate everybody.
thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right, so I'm gonna-
Appreciate your hard work.
I want to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Farland second. Awesome. Thank y'all.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
I should sign his check.
Or say get his out.
If,
Is that two in
I
there?
don't think it- if you all are here and Andrew's not here,
Yeah, I need an
I
initial
guess
note.
when Robert turns this off, I guess.
There you go, Carl.
Remote turn the TV off.
That's on that FSD meeting.